Welcome to the Comic Scoop weekly review for May 4th, 2022. We got a nice selection here, and I'm going to start off with three number ones. With the most newest of these three is Twig. Brand new story with a brand new character by Skottie Young as the writer. We have Kyle Strom doing the artwork and Jean-Francois Bellou with some amazing colors. Now, this is the Peach Momoko variant that I got. Got all kinds of really great variant covers, but I can never turn down a Peach Momoko, and just like, that's gorgeous. And I think it really complements the interior work with those really wonderful colors. So it's a cute story, and world, that's doing some world building here. We have this little blue guy here named Twig with his slug pal. Kind of looks like a sauropod. But Twig is about to start his very first day of work, and he's late. So the two of them just kind of travel around their travel around their world. Like, this is a fantastic spread right here with this like mountain creature. It kind of makes me think of the Rock Biters and Never Ending Story. And yeah, it's essentially kind of like this world. It's like, a Fantasia of Never Ending Story, or like in Dark Crystal. I was trying to think of the name of that world, but I can't think of it right now. Yeah, so we have all these like critters and things that have personality, like, inanimate objects like a mountain. And everyone's kind of worried about Twig being late because he's supposed to follow in his father's footsteps. Now, within this mountain, there's, like these mines. So Twig's job is to take care of this gem that's kind of, like, look at that. It's great. He has to take this gem to someone called the Pathfinder. So he journeys across the world. Just look at these great colors. In order to find this Pathfinder. And it's a nice, cute, happy story. Then we get to the end of this first issue. He goes into the Pathfinder's house and there's no one answering. And he finds the Pathfinder has been long dead. So, what is Twig going to do? And I'm very curious. Like, I really like this like quick little twist on what's like a cute, happy story. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm excited to see where that's going to go. And also, just real quick, those of you who are in like the DMV area, Skottie Young will be showing up at Third Eye Comics in Annapolis on the 4th of June for doing a signing. So, it'd be neat to get this signed by him. There's also a variant cover where Skottie Young, that Skottie Young did as well. That'll be nice to get. So, we're moving away from Twig and Image Comics to go into Marvel's Spider-Man 2099 Exodus. Alpha, which is a whole mouthful. This is the very first issue, the Alpha of the Exodus. I am a huge fan of Spider-Man 2099, Miguel O'Hara, who was first appeared November 1st, 1992, in his very own issue of Spider-Man 2099 that takes place in a futuristic setting of New York, or Nueva York, as it's referred to. And it's kind of, an experiment that his company had done, and now he has the appropriate powers of a spider. What's kind of cool about him than like the traditional Peter Parker, so he has like these talons on his fingers, which, let me see, I don't know if you can really see them there. He has these talons on his fingers, and that's what helps him climb. Early on, I think like the first villain he fights, he accidentally murders them by slapping him and not realizing that his talons just kind of like slit the guy's throat. And that's kind of Miguel O'Hara. He's trying to do the best, but he's so inexperienced that things like that happen. But that's way back when he first started. Now, we're at a good senior Miguel O'Hara. And what's really cool about this story, we feature the 29 version of Ghost Rider, who is kind of like a cybernetic ghost. It's a little different than the regular Ghost Rider. Here's a really beautiful page right there. It's a pretty neat story. So there's like the this kind of crash that happens, and essentially you find out that there's a celestial that has crashed, and something of like a new Garden of Eden has been growing out of it. And there's an organization called the Cabal, which are more or less like a cartel within Nueva York. And Miguel is trying to track down what do they have to do with this celestial crash that happened here. And he, along with Ghost Rider, team up together to get to the bottom of this and to find out who is the leader of the Cabal. And that's the thing that's revealed at the very end of this, and I'm not going to spoil that. Save that for the next one, because it's definitely a huge, huge character. I'm really excited to see where Exodus is going to go. Yeah, so this is a really cute, cool cover done by Ron Lim and Israel Silva. It's a connecting cover, so I'm excited to see what the other parts will be. This story is written by Steve Orlando, who's pretty cool, and drawn by Paul Fry. That was a neat one. Alright, all you Batman heads, going over to the DC Comics. This is Flashpoint Beyond. Now, most of you might be familiar with the Flashpoint story, where Barry Allen had traveled back in time to save his mother and caused a ripple effect that created a alternate reality which was far worse than his prime reality. And one of the many differences in that alternate reality is Bruce Wayne was the one to catch the bullet in the robbery with like Joe Chill. So we have Thomas Wayne, who survives his son's murder, and unlike a child growing up to want to become a protector, we have a broken father who lost their child, and he is the Batman, and he punishes his criminals in the most extreme way. So this, though, is really cool. Flashpoint's kind of like a sequel to that. In 2011, which is also when Flashpoint came out, like a few months later, they released this standalone Batman Night of Vengeance. This, just like a few weeks ago, got reprinted. So it's kind of, this is like origin story of Thomas Wayne, but just like shows like his own adventure in here. So that's a neat thing to read, get to know his character better. And between Flashpoint, which was like 2 weeks ago, Flashpoint Beyond Zero was where they set up the stage for what what Flashpoint's going to be. So this alternate reality still exists. For whatever reason, it's back. Barry Allen has been assassinated before he can travel back into time and fix the things that he ruined. So Thomas Wayne is just trying to figure out why. Why is this world back? And what can he do to reverse these effects? He has his theories that Aquaman might have been the one who hired the killer to kill Barry Allen, but he is proven wrong. And it seems that Wonder Woman has a bigger part to play in this and is a lot more sinister than what Thomas Wayne was expecting. So definitely, this is going to be a cool series to get into. So those are our three first issues there. I'm going to crack into some of the ones that I'm sure some of you are excited to get back into, like the Batman Beyond Neo Year 2. This one is a really cool variant cover done by Christian Ward. It's fantastic. We have this new character, the Jasalt. I forgot the pronunciation. Jasalt. I think it's what they are called. But there's like these three individuals that are one unit. I guess I shouldn't call them individuals. I absolutely love this cover. The white background there with the like green really blends so well, and I love all those twisty, spirally, whatever tendrils. And even with this part that's slightly closer up, it's out of focus there. That's just fantastic. This issue was really cool. So we pick up from last issue, and uh, Terry McGinnis is trying to stay under the radar because Gotham City has a like sentient, an artificial sentience to it, kind of like Skynet. So he like breaks down his suit to be a little more off the grid, so that he can't be tracked down. And it's kind of neat. The Wayne Mansion has been destroyed, and that suit's basically all that's left of Bruce Wayne's legacy. And we have like a part here where he uses this batarang, and he mentions like this is the last batarang that he has in his utility belt, and like even goes to mention that the utility belt is essentially empty by now. So he's kind of just working on what he has. So that was pretty cool, and that's when the Gislot enters. Yeah, and they're really cool. They have like this really neat fight here, which is very twisty, and it's real cool. And they get down to Joker Town, and here's a really awesome spread. Here, let me get that out of the glare there. Wow, yeah, I love the colors in this. It's fantastic, just so visceral. But yeah, this was a cool story. I really enjoy the introduction of like new characters between like each issue. It seems like, and just curious to see what we're gonna do and how Terry's going to get around this Gotham AI. And I have one final one of Batman. We got a little triple threat here of Batman comics. This one is Killing Time #3. Killing Time has been fantastic, and this like did not disappoint. And we left off the last issue with the Riddler opened up the door to someone, and it turns he's expecting it to be the buyer of their the box that they had stolen from Bruce Wayne's vault. But instead, it's this character called the Help, and the Help is someone that the Penguin had hired to get his revenge. But yeah, it's really cool. We have like, it shows the Help, as soon as he answers the door, as soon as Riddler answers the door, he gets shot by the Help. And then Batman intervenes, and the two of them have this really interesting fight with each other, which I really enjoy. Because as as the two of them are fighting, the Help just like critiques and analyzes all of Batman's moves. Like he's like, oh, you have some Ducard here, and like, oh, I've never seen anyone do that who wasn't part of an Al Ghul. Like, I'll contact Raish and let him know that his students are learning well from you. So like, this guy's been around. He knows his thing, and he definitely gives Batman the upper hand. And while this is going on, we have Catwoman and the Riddler. They had stolen the Batmobile, and they're trying to get as fast away as possible and end up like dumping that so they don't get traced. It's really cool. Now, the part that I especially enjoyed was, so right after the Help is critiquing Batman's fighting styles, we go 5 years in the past where Bruce Wayne has just left Al Ghul's temple, and he has this gift that Raish had given him, and he's about to throw it away, but he doesn't. And I'm pretty certain this is the object that was in his safe that our other villains had stolen. And then we go back slightly more, and Raish has this one-on-one with Bruce, and he tells him that he's going to gift him his most prized possession, which is this object. Now we're going to go slightly back more. Oh, I guess that's not how that goes. But we get a little insight of what this box is. And this is the thing that we've all been really curious about since they first mentioned in issue 1. So is the year is 1372, and there's this box stolen from a church, and this box is supposed to allegedly contains the eyes or the eye of Jesus Christ himself. And this box is stolen and placed into the coffin of this guy's sister, and just basically left there. Now, some years later, in 1873, someone finds this box in the ground, and that's when Ra's al Ghul first comes into possession with it. And I just really like this. Like, I love seeing how that was all tied in together. And we finally end it with Catwoman's alone, trying to figure out what to do with Riddler, and opens up the box. And just like Pulp Fiction style, has the glow over her. Yeah. I can't wait for the next issue. We're halfway there. It's 6 issues altogether. We're in issue 3. Alright, next up I have Little Monsters here, with a really awesome variant cover done by Andrea Sorrentino, who, if you had watched my previous video for Free Comic Book Day, he's the artist for Gideon Falls and that new thing with Jeff Lemire. So, just like in the last issue, in this one we get a little insight on one of the other characters' origin of how they turned. They're like presented by this, father vampire, and we also get a little sense of the world that they're in. So it starts off with showing 2029, which is not too far away here from now, the second pandemic. So it's quite possible that the reason why they live in what seems like a post-apocalyptic world in the previous issues is because they're living in this world that's been wiped out because of I guess the pandemic that we're currently in. And this character who they show the origin story is Billy, who's the kid that tasted the blood of the man that was found in the last issue. And he's over here trying to get all his other friends to follow him and taste this blood, because they've never had the blood of a man before. And at the same time, we have Romy, who found the injured person, and that person's daughter has come into contact with Romy, and they watch from afar as the children feast on this guy's blood. So things are changing, and is it for the better? Is it for the worst? Who knows? But they are going to become what they were always meant to be. That's Little Monsters. Now, my last and not least is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, issue 128. Now, this is a really beautiful variant cover done by the co-creator Kevin Eastman. And I believe it's supposed to be Donatello being held by his father, Splinter, before being mutated into the rat. But it's pretty neat. I have not. This is not. I read the Ninja Turtles sporadically every once in a while, and jumping in at this point seemed really convoluted for me because it's just I have no idea what was actually happening. But the reason why I got this because there's this character. They feature a new turtle in here. That Donatello is with this seemingly villain. Supposed to be a scientist and talking about helping out this character named Venus, and then we come to find out that previously the turtles were had an interaction with these other mutants called the punk frogs, and we see this frog limb, and it turns out Venus was actually Bonnie, who was this frog that went missing, and this mad scientist has worked Bonnie into this turtle monstrosity who can communicate telepathically and taps into Donnie's mind in that way. And when Donnie's guard is down, he gets stuck and is rendered unconscious, which is like the worst position. You don't want to be like drugged up while you're like in this mad scientist's lab seeing this like disturbing experiment. Like that's the last thing you want. So he wakes up here next to Alopex, and they're all like hooked up into this machine, and I'm just like so nervous for Donnie. Like I can't. I hate the idea of this situation. And then they show like Venus being put together, being turned into this this abomination of a turtle. Just like feel so sorry for her. And so there's this dragon scale that's being used, like I guess kind of like as an anesthetic, and that's how Venus has this um, telepathy power going on here. And when Donnie is put under the influence of this scale, he starts to like kind of have an astral projection. I really love the sequence because like the artwork in here is absolutely gorgeous. Like it's fantastic, and he goes to like an old memory of when he was a child with his father, and mentions how he's never been able to like contact these memories like through astral projection, through meditation. So he mentions it's the thing he was always envious of Leo being able to do, and so it was nice that he got to do that. So I'm definitely gonna pick up like this next issue of this because I'm really curious to see what's gonna happen to Donnie and what's gonna happen with this, forced turtle Venus. Yeah, so that was really cool. All right, well that's my video for this week, guys. I know it's about the end of the week, but getting back on track with things. Thanks for watching, and you guys all have a nice weekend. Bye.